Okay, boys, so I'm just making this little video since we didn't have a chance to do our fall retreat. We're going to do it during Great Lent after in the new year, but I wanted to make this kind of like little video which kind of gives you some of the basics of what you need to know about being an altar boy, the proper kind of rules and etiquette within the altar, and things that you should know, and especially if you're new coming into our altar and joining our altar boy ranks, this video will help you. So the first part is that how do we enter into the altar properly, right? This is really, really important because a lot of times I see altar boys kind of just walking in as if it's just another place, right? The holy altar is called the holy altar for a reason, right? It is a sacred space. It is a holy place. This is why we block it off with a whole wall, an icon wall that separates it from the rest of the congregation, right? It is not a place where we just kind of go in and hang out and talk. It is something where this is where the Holy of Holies is. This is where the Holy Spirit comes down and blesses and makes the holy, the body and the bread and the wine into the body and blood of Christ. And it is so important for us to kind of understand how holy it is. So when we enter into the holy altar, whether we're entering by the door, the deacon door as it's called, which is one of the side doors on the iconostas, or whether we're entering in the side door, it should be the same practice, right? But especially when we're entering the doors here, it's important to do our cross, to do a metania, which means we bend, do a small prostration, and if it's an altar door, we kiss the icon, right? So we would come up, do our cross, take our time, bend, kiss the icon, and open and enter into the altar, right? So always when you're entering the altar, you are doing a cross, doing a prostration, a metania, and kissing the altar, the icon that is on the door. If you're going through the side door, you're doing the same thing. You're just not kissing an icon, but you're still going to do your cross and enter before you enter into the holy place, okay? I don't care whether it's from the side doors or from these doors. I want everybody to be entering reverently into the holy altar. Same thing when you're exiting. When you're exiting the holy altar, whether you're leaving from the side door or whether you're leaving from one of these doors, you're going to do the same thing. If you're coming out, if you come out, you're going to turn, close the door, do your cross, and bow, okay? And then you can leave. So when we exit, we do the same thing. We do our cross and we bow as a way of reverence of leaving the holy altar. This is what you should be doing when you're leaving the church as well. When you're leaving the church, any day that you're in the church, when you're going out the front doors, you should turn, face the altar, cross yourself, bow, and then exit the church. This is the respectful way of entering and exiting a church. So just remember, when we're entering and we're exiting, we're always doing our cross and we're doing a prostration, and either we're kissing the icon or we're just bowing and entering into the holy altar. All right, so the next thing that you do is when you enter the altar is you're going to come back here. This is the altar prep area. And you're going to get one of the robes that we wear as altar boys, right? So this is where we keep the robes, right? And we have different colors and different sizes and things like that. And you're going to try to find something that fits your size. If you don't know how to do it or if you're new, one of the other altar boys will help you, right? This is where we hang everything. Please remember that as you take things out, when you're done at the end of liturgy, you need to hang everything back up the way you found it, right? A lot of times, unfortunately, sometimes people forget, and when I come back afterwards and all the altar boys are gone, there's things falling on the ground, there's belts hanging all over the place or left on the table here. This is not good. It's disrespectful, right? So make sure you take the time to put back your robe the way that you found it. So this is your standard robe, altar boy robe. It looks like this, okay? It's like a big T. The arms are here, okay? I'm going to show you how to fold it properly, okay? So the most appropriate way to fold a robe is to make sure that it's flat. Use the table here, okay? And you're going to fold it first of all in half. So you're going to fold it in half like this, where the arms are kind of brought together and the whole robe is lined up perfectly, as you can see here. Okay? This is very, very easy to do. Then you're going to take the arms and you're going to fold them in like this. Okay, so from here, you're going to fold them in. Now you have almost like a straight thing. Okay, sometimes if it's a little bit big here, you can fold this in a little bit too. Okay, and then you're going to fold the whole thing over once. Okay, and then you're going to fold it one more time. Boom, that's it. If you have an horario and a belt, okay, you're going to take the belt, same thing. You're going to fold it in halves. Okay. Very straightforward. Make sure that it's equal. So we we bring it to like a half point, and we just fold it. Okay, and we fold it in half. Once, twice, 3 times, depending on how much it takes to make it nice and tight. I would say this is good. Okay. You can even do it a second time, like a fourth time if you want. You place this on top. Okay. And that's how you fold your robe. So it's really important that once you fold your robe properly, that you're going to bring it to the priest during the service for him to bless it before you put it on. Always bless your robe before you put it on. Never put it on without a blessing. So you're going to fold everything. You're going to come on his right-hand side always, which is through this door from the back. And you're going to come with it, holding it with both hands to the priest. And you're going to whisper to him, Master bless, or Evloyuson despota. Evloyuson despota means Master bless. And you're going to whisper that to him. He's going to turn. He's going to bless the vestment. And then you're going to kiss his hand when he's done. And then you're going to turn and go back out and get dressed in the back and then come in to serve. So again, you come up, you say, Master bless. He blesses it. You kiss his hand. And then you go off to get dressed. Okay, everybody. So once you've already kind of, come into the altar, you folded your robe properly, you blessed your robe properly, then it's time to serve, right? So one really important thing is to remember is the etiquette within the holy altar, right? So one of the things that I have to constantly remind the altar boys is that when we're serving the altar, your job is to be in here, in the actual altar, not hanging out in the back, talking, watching videos on your phone or whatever else, right? Our job is to be prayerful and to be serving here, because your job is to help the priest perform the actual service itself, right? So as you can see here, we have the chairs that go all the way around, except for the throne that nobody sits on. That's why there's a gospel book on it. Then you are to sit in this semicircle here and stay within the altar. The only time that you should be going to the back is either to get dressed, as we said, or because I've told you to go to the back to either get the censer or to get ready for a procession, or, to get ready to read. If you're a reader, you're going to read the epistle or something like that, or read the creed or something like that. So any other time, you are in here. You are not hanging out in the back of the altar, right? I've already told the altar boys that, if you're going to come to the altar and you're going to hang out in the back, you might as well sit outside with your family, right? So we all have to be inside the altar, respectful. And of course, we have to remember that when we are inside the altar, people can see you. People can see what you're doing. They can see if you're laughing. They can see if you're joking. They can see if you're on your phone, things like that. So again, you have to remind yourself that you are an example to everybody else and that you need to be respectful here, and also to be attentive to the priest and what he wants, the signals that he's giving you. And we're going to go through the signals now, right after this part, to show you, some of the hand signals that I like to use and what they mean, so you know exactly what I need without me having to say anything, since most of the time I'm chanting or my microphone is on and I can't speak to you directly. So I give hand signals for some of the main parts of the service so you all know what it means and what you need to do for the service. All right, so here are some of the hand signals that all of you can learn. There are not a lot of them, but you need to know what I mean when I do these signals so you know what I need from you during the service. So the most common one that you're going to see is that this means go get a candle. The big candles that we have off to the side where we carry them around in a procession. This means time to go get candles. I will give this signal when it's time for a gospel reading coming up, or when it's time for a procession. If I do this to all of you, it means everybody gets up and goes out to the back to get the candles ready, or the fans, or the lanterns, or the cross to get the procession ready to go around, right? So this means candles, right? Another signal will be this. If I do this, this means get me the censer. The censer is what we use to sense the altar and to sense the people, right? And the censer has charcoal. The charcoal has to be lit and hot, and we have to put incense on the charcoal as well. So if I do this, it means somebody go get me the censer and bring it to me, and make sure the censer has a hot charcoal inside of it and has incense. This means censer, okay? Another signal that you're going to see is, a signal is that we are either going around the whole church. I'll do this. This means a full procession all the way down halfway and up the center, which is what we do for the great entrance, right? This means a full circle around the church, right? And this means a small circle. So sometimes on weekday liturgies, we are doing only a small procession here up on the platform, not all the way around the church. So if I do this, it means the full procession around the church, and this means a small procession here up on the solea on the platform. Okay, so that's that signal. The other signal that you might see is when I do this. This means sit down. It doesn't mean go on your knees. It means sit. I do this to the congregation too. I tell people to sit. Right. This means it's time to sit. Right. And then this, of course, means to stand up. It's time to stand up. You need to get up. Right. So this is to sit. Time to sit, and this is to stand. Right. Now, if I do this, I point down, it means we get down on our knees. We're kneeling for the calling of the Holy Spirit, for preparing for Holy Communion, where everybody kneels. I do this, I point down. So this is sit, but this is kneel. Kneel all the way down and read your pre-communion prayers, or it is the time of the epiklesis, the calling down upon the Holy Spirit, tasayak ton son, when the priest does. So this means kneel. This means sit. Okay? The only other signals that you might see is that if I only need, for example, 2 altar boys, I'll say 2. So I'll say 2, that might be, for example, in a situation where maybe I only want 2 candles to go out. Not everybody. I might just say 2 candles, right? Or I might say, 2 altar boys on each side, because for the gospel, we have people coming out on this side and on that side, not coming out just one side. So if I just say, everybody candles on both sides, or 2 altar boys with candles on each side. Those are the signals for that. And of course, the last signal you're ever going to see from me is this, which means don't talk, right? If you're loud, if you're speaking too loud, or you're gossiping or doing something else in the altar you're not supposed to be doing, this means be quiet, pay attention, right, to what's going on. So those are the signals that we use within the altar. Again, so one of the other tasks that you're going to be doing as an altar boy is helping with Holy Communion. And not everybody does this. More of the mature altar boys who are more experienced do this because it's a very important job. And this is when the priest is giving Holy Communion and the altar boy has to stand next to him holding the cloth, which we call the machtro, the communion cloth, the red cloth, so that communion never falls anywhere on the ground or anywhere else, right? So usually we use a chalice, which looks like this, right? And there is the communion spoon, which looks like this. And the priest will be giving communion to people in this way. Usually, I will hold part of the cloth between my fingers like this around the bottom. And this part of the cloth is held by the altar boy, usually on my left-hand side, because this is the hand that I'm holding the chalice, not on my right where I'm moving so I don't hit him. If the priest is left-handed, it will be on the other side. And usually the altar boy will stand next to me holding the cloth, right? What's important is that when the cloth is there, that the altar boy holds with both hands underneath the cloth, one near the chalice and the other one near the chin of the person. This way they're creating a bridge so that the communion never falls on the ground. So this is the way that you should be helping the priest with the communion cloth. One of the hands is close to the chalice and the other hand is underneath the chin, and sometimes people can wipe their mouth with it after they've received Holy Communion. This is the appropriate way. You have to watch to make sure that Holy Communion never falls on the ground, no pieces fall anywhere. And if you do see something that the priest doesn't see, you point it out to him immediately and he will eat it, he will consume it right away. But you have to be very, very careful that you don't hit the chalice and that you don't hit the people and that you protect the body and blood of Christ as it is being given to the congregation. Okay, the final thing that I want to talk about in reference to being an altar boy and something that you might want to do later when you get a little bit older is maybe you choose to become a reader. And what is a reader, or anagnosti as we say in Greek? A reader is exactly what the name specifies, which is somebody who reads or who chants within the church, right? And this is an official position within the church. It's part of the lower clergy. So in order to be a reader, as opposed to being an altar boy, you have to be blessed by the bishop when the bishop visits, right? And there's a special kind of service that is done where the bishop will come and pray over you and give you this beautiful position within the church, and he'll actually snip your hair in 4 places, the tonsring, as it's called, in order to show that now you are obedient to this order of the church. And when you become a reader, you're a reader forever for the rest of your life. It's part of the lower clergy of the church, just like subdeacons, right? So some of you have become readers, and others of you are reading already, kind of already training for it, but you haven't become official readers yet, which is totally fine. But if you're interested, basically the role of the reader is to read the epistle, right? Here we do it in English because the chanter reads it in Greek. So you have to know how to read English. And I would say that if you're going to be a reader, it's good to also know how to read Greek properly, because you might be called upon to also read the Greek epistle at any given time. And it's also the role of the reader, at least here in our church, to also lead the congregation in the creed, right? In the Nicene Creed, the I believe in one God, Father Almighty, etc., etc. And that's also good to know both in Greek and English as well. So these are the two main roles that the reader performs in our particular church here at Prophet Elias, although readers can also become chanters and learn how to help at the Psaltiri, which is here, to learn how to chant. And we do encourage our readers to learn how to chant, because we always need future chanters for our church to kind of be able to continue the beautiful chanting tradition of Orthodoxy. So if you're interested in being a reader, speak to me, speak to your priest if you're in a different church, and ask him about it, and he'll talk to you about it and what it means. And you can start slowly to practice reading and practicing reading the epistle reading and the creed, and also chanting different hymns. And slowly with time, next time the bishop comes, you can be on the list to become an official reader of the Orthodox Church as well. So that's it. That's the basics of becoming an altar boy in our church. Of course, there are other things that you will learn along the way, like the processions, how we walk, and the formations up here on the platform. We will do those things in person. We will do those things at the retreat that we will do after in the new year. And we do this in our retreat every year. So don't worry about those things. And anything else that was not covered in this video, your fellow altar servers will fill you in, and they'll cover it with you, and they'll help train you. But these are the basic things that you need to know. As a final reminder, it is also so important to show up on time for Divine Liturgy. And what do I mean by on time? Divine Liturgy starts at 10 a.m. every Sunday, and it's good to try to be there, I would say 5 or 10 minutes early. I know sometimes you're coming with your parents and you cannot control your parents when they leave because they're driving you, because you're not driving yourselves, especially if you're younger. That's fine, of course. But when it's possible, it's important to emphasize to come to church a little bit early, so that you have time to come in, to find your robe, to fold it, to bless it, to get ready, so that you're already ready in the altar right at 10 a.m. when we start the Divine Liturgy. You're ready to serve, right? It's not good for altar boys to be coming late to the Divine Liturgy, especially if there's no good reason. Definitely, if you're coming in more than halfway through, it's not a good thing, because you've already missed most of the things that altar boys have to do, most of the processions. And it's also a little bit disrespectful to Christ, because it is Christ who is inviting us to his banquet, to his mystical supper, and we are honored guests. And how much more of an honor is it for us who get to serve in the altar, to get to serve the table of the banquet of Christ, right? So we need to be there on time. It is the most important thing that we do, and it is a great honor that we should be thankful for. So try to be on time, and if you can't be on time, that's totally fine. Sometimes it's better to sit with your family if it's very, very late, instead of disrupting the altar and coming in late. And try to be as respectful as possible. Serve the Lord with faith and with fear and with trembling and with thanksgiving. I appreciate all of you and all the hard work that you do, and I hope that this video does help kind of remind you of some of the etiquette and some of the things that we need to do to be excellent altar servers. Take care, and we'll see you on Sundays.